I wrote a recent blog entry. I don't know if y'all have seen the recent press, the bad press that Jimmy John's has been getting, because Jimmy John's, I guess, has a standard agreement that it requires, or at least provides to all of its franchisees to have their employees sign, and it's got an extremely overbroad non-compete in it. Basically says that you can't ever work for a sandwich shop, not ever, however many years, for a sandwich shop that is within a 5-mile radius of a Jimmy John's. And so, if you're a delivery person at the Jimmy John's here in Atlanta, you can't go to Cal Berkeley and while you're in college there work for a sandwich shop that's within 5 miles of a Jimmy John's out there. That's not a good example because that wouldn't be enforced in California. But I think that situation brings up the issue of who is covered, and I think Gary just summarized it really well. The proponents of this bill, when it was being debated, kept saying, well, the thing that really makes this attractive is that we are going to exclude the vast majority of workers from being subject to non-competes. That somebody that is a low-level worker it's going to be illegal to have that person sign a non-compete. Non-competes are going to be reserved for higher-level employees, higher-level executives. But when you drill down on the definitions, it becomes pretty clear that, as Gary said, anybody that has customer contact or anybody that has access to or is provided with confidential information is covered. And so, the simple example is the receptionist. I think the receptionist has customer contact. Therefore, I could make the argument that under the statute, you can have a non-compete signed by the receptionist, just like in the Jimmy John's situation. In the Jimmy John's situation, the guy who's going out or the woman who's going out and delivering sandwiches is having contact with the customers. So under these definitions, that may be enough to at least be able to make the plausible argument under the statute that person is covered. Now, I wouldn't want to go into court in front of many of the judges that I know and try to make the argument that the guy who was delivering sandwiches for Jimmy John's should be enjoined from working for another sandwich shop. But my point is that you can start to think about all of the other examples in all of the other types of businesses that you represent where people have contact with customers and maybe have access to or provided with confidential information, but are not really the type of people for which a non-compete is really necessary or appropriate. So I think you've got to look very carefully at it. One of the things that I do when I'm counseling our business clients on drafting covenants under the new law is I really try to understand who the employees are that they're going to have sign it. What do those people do? Can I, legitimately make the argument that they are the type of people that should be subject to a non-compete? Because, like Michael said, if you don't do that, then you do run the risk that a judge will look at it and say that you overreached, in which case the judge may not enforce your non-solicitation covenant or other types of covenants like that might be appropriate regardless of the position the person is in. So I think it's important just to ensure that you understand the position of the employees and what the nature of their duties and responsibilities are before you draft covenants for clients to have them sign.